Watch the emerald one climb aboard. It is a jewel, metallic green, the size of a rice grain with wings, and it has just landed on the back of a cockroach 3 times its length. It cannot win a fight. It will not try. Instead, it bends its whole body forward, presses a needle through the soft skin of the roach's neck, and pushes that needle directly into the brain. And here is the part that should stop you cold. After this, the roach will not run. It will not fight. It will get up, calm and unhurried, and walk itself to its own grave, on its own 6 legs, alive the entire way. That is the trick this wasp is built for. Ampulex compressa, the emerald jewel wasp. It does not paralyze the roach. It does not carry it. It does something stranger and far more precise. It reaches inside the nervous system and switches off a single thing, the will to escape. Start with the size problem, because everything follows from it. The wasp is a fraction of the roach's mass. It has no hope of wrestling this animal down, no way to sting it into a coma and drag the body home. Force is off the table, so the wasp does not aim at the muscles. It aims at the controls. The first sting lands in the thorax, into a nerve cluster called the prothoracic ganglion. This is not the sting that does the mind work. The venom here is a chemical cocktail, GABA, taurine, and beta-alanine that opens chloride channels and briefly blocks the signals to the front legs. The roach's forelegs go slack. Just the front pair, and only for a matter of minutes. It is a reversible little seizure, not whole-body paralysis, and it exists for one reason: to hold the roach still for the few seconds the wasp needs to line up the second, real strike. Because now the wasp bends its abdomen forward and threads its stinger through the neck membrane and into the head capsule itself. It injects venom directly into the roach's cephalic ganglia, the brain, and especially a structure beneath it called the sub-esophageal ganglion. This is a sting delivered inside the central nervous system. The venom pools almost entirely in those 2 spots, as if placed by hand. But the wasp cannot see inside the head. So how does it find the right target? The answer is that the stinger is not just a needle, it is a sense organ. It carries roughly 30 to 35 mechanosensory bristles and dome-shaped sensors along its length. The leading evidence is that the wasp feels its way through the head, reading the resistance of the tissue, hunting for the specific density of the ganglia. When researchers scooped out the brain and left only soft gel behind, the wasp stung far longer, probing, searching for something that was no longer there. A firmer gel satisfied them. The mechanical guidance is well established. Whether the stinger also tastes its way in is something the scientists themselves flag as an open question, not a settled fact. And make no mistake, the wasp does not know what a brain is. It is not thinking about surgery. It is following feedback from the tip of a needle. Now the horror. Because the word for what happens next is zombie, and that word is a lie about the details that matter most. The stung roach is not paralyzed, it is not frozen, it is not a husk. Flip it over and it rights itself. Touch it and it grooms. Push it onto a treadmill and it walks, a normal coordinated gait, its motor system fully intact. Everything the roach can physically do, it still can do. What the venom takes is not the ability to move, it is the drive to. A puff of wind, a sudden touch, the exact stimuli that would normally launch a cockroach into a panicked sprint, now trigger nothing. The escape circuit has been switched off. The animal is still in there, still walking, still standing, still capable of everything but the one thing that would save it: the impulse to flee. This is hijacked motivation, not a stolen body, and it is the single most misreported fact about this creature. Watch what the roach does with its final freedom. For about 30 minutes after the head sting, it does not try to leave. It grooms, relentlessly, thoroughly, cleaning itself through every normal motion as if nothing at all had happened. The leading explanation ties this compulsive grooming to a dopamine-like action of the venom. Inject dopamine into a roach and you can reproduce the same excessive cleaning more effectively than other candidates. It is presented as the best current explanation, not a closed case. And while the roach tidies itself, the deeper stillness settles in. The drive drains out of it over that same half hour. Then comes the leash. The wasp steps to the roach's head and clips the tips of its antennae with its jaws and drinks the fluid that wells up from the cut stumps. The feeding is real and observed. Why it trims the antennae is not settled. It may be a drink. It may be a way of gauging the roach's state or the dose it received. Treat the reason as uncertain. Then the wasp takes one antennal stub in its mandibles and pulls, and the roach follows. It rises and walks, docile, under its own power, guided by a grip on what remains of its feeler into a crevice that already exists in the world. Observers describe it exactly as it looks, like walking a dog on a leash. The wasp does not dig. It does not build. It simply leads a living animal to the pre-made chamber that will become its tomb. And the roach chauffeurs itself the whole way. Inside, the wasp lays a single egg. Not on the roach's back, not on its belly. It glues the egg to the coxa, the base segment of one of the roach's legs, a spot the animal could not scrape off even if the will to try still lived in it. Then, the wasp backs out and seals the entrance with pebbles and scraps of debris, walling the still breathing, still docile larder away from scavengers in the dark. 2 to 3 days later, the egg hatches. The larva chews a small hole through the soft membrane at the leg joint and begins to feed, first from the outside, drinking the roach's blood. Then it bores inward, into the abdomen, and starts on the organs. And here the wasp reveals one last, clinical piece of engineering. The larva floods the roach's insides with an antimicrobial secretion, a blend of compounds dominated by a molecule called melane that disinfects the carcass and keeps the meat from rotting while it eats. The roach is a refrigerator that has been switched on. It survives well into this process. We make no claim about what it feels. There is no evidence of conscious suffering, and this is not the place to invent it. When the larva has hollowed the body out, it spins a cocoon inside the empty shell and pupates. The full journey from egg to adult runs on the order of several weeks, roughly 4 at warm temperatures, longer when it is cool. And it depends on the heat, so hold it as a range, not a number. At the end of it, a new emerald wasp cuts its way out of the husk. And the cycle begins again. So let us be honest about the line between what is proven and what is still being mapped. The 2 sting sequence, the target inside the head, the fact that the roach is mobile but drained of its escape drive, these are established. Measured, repeated, what remains unsolved is exactly how the venom does it. Strikingly, this venom lacks the classic nerve and cell poisons you would expect. Instead, it is a storm of hundreds of proteins working together. Part of the effect has been traced to disrupted signaling by a molecule called octopamine. An octopamine-mimicking drug can partially restore a stung roach's walking. And specific venom peptides raise the threshold for escape, but partial is the key word. No one can yet name the exact switch. That work is still open. And before you check the corners of your own room, this creature has nothing for you. Ampulex compressa is a specialist. Its entire arsenal is tuned to the nervous system of a cockroach. Its sting to a human is, at most, a minor pinprick. It cannot manipulate, cannot parasitize, cannot zombify a person, a pet, or anything larger than the pest it hunts. People even tried to use it to wipe out cockroaches once. It did not work. It is a scalpel built for one victim, and one victim only. If files like this one are why you're here, the quiet, precise ways one life is turned into a nursery for another, then subscribe. Because every episode, we open another file on the creatures that hijack other lives to build their own. Because this wasp only steered its victim to the grave. Next time, we open the file on one that doesn't just steer its host, it conscripts it. A caterpillar that erupts with a wasp's young and then, still alive, stands guard over its own murderers, thrashing, lunging, beating back anything that comes near, defending the very creatures that hollowed it out, to the death. Host or hijacker, no one is safe.